Toast.
Toast.
Money will come and go. We know that. The most important thing in life will always be the people in this room. Right here. Right now. Salute me, Familia. Salute.
It's only appropriate if I start out this way by saying thank you. Thank you to everybody that's been here. Thank you to everybody that's, been a fan and subscribed. And I start out in that way because, it's the elephant in the room just because we haven't recorded in a while. But let me be clear, it's nothing bad. It's nothing serious that's going on. I know I'm speaking in a monotone voice, but I feel like I don't have to particularly raise my voice in this situation. And, it's just to say thank you to everybody. Me and my brother are beyond cool. Hell, we probably at this, moment with our friendship, it's probably at an all-time high, to be honest. But I just, he wanted to do the mysterious stuff, kind of keep people in the quiet, and then, that's it, going to the sunset. But I think it's old, even for myself. Like I told him I would do this. I think it's old to the fans or people whoever hears this in the future as to why, a new episode had to come out. I put the blame on myself. Like most things in life, I blame myself. Any situation I've been in, I take accountability because I could have did better. And I didn't. At one point I didn't. I used to blame situations, but that's part of growth. And, the past 3 weeks I've had this feeling of I just want to harken back on podcasting. That's all it was. And it went from, David saying, hey, a break is needed, to me just saying, yeah, I'm kind of done. And to be honest with everybody, that's kind of where I'm at with podcasting. Now, I will be doing other stuff if you care about anything I do. If not, it's fine. As you know, Davis is on BRP and he does white noise, which is essentially just like this show. And that's another reason why I was like, hey, man, he gets to talk about that stuff and people have to pay to see him talk about it until it becomes free on YouTube. Because at this point, it's about getting paid. That's one of the reasons why I'm stepping back, but I'll get to that in a second. But with me, and as it relates to podcasting, I'm falling back. Other than, anything random acts related or when somebody contacts me, I don't really have the passion as much as I did before with podcasting. And what a difference, a couple of weeks to make or day makes in this instance. And it's crazy because the past 3 weeks I feel like that. The past 3 weeks I just kind of like, because the thing is I don't feel challenged anymore. It's been weeks last year, which was, and it's crazy to think about how last year I was like, there's nowhere else for me to go. Like literally I thought about that last month, like there's nowhere else for me to go. Just because 2022, I've never missed a week. Went through the hardest year of my life. Didn't miss a week. Had the most productive week ever. I want to say the past 3 years have been the most productive years ever in podcasting for me. But for the most part, last year was definitely number one. It's because during the pandemic, unlike others, I didn't make dating podcasts. I just, made silly stuff podcast, so to speak, or anything of my interest was just supposed to be about. And to be honest with y'all, I've been doing this since 2018. It's just been consistent the past 3 years. And that's the thing. I started thinking about when's the last time I've just taken a break from podcasting. Maybe May of 2021. I took like a week off maybe. maybe, and maybe it was just one more week. So even then, let's say that if it's been 2 weeks, and I don't even think it's been that, 2 combined weeks in the past year and a half, that's insane. Of just going straight through. And I swear I can go back and look, but I think it's been only a week where I missed something or my name wasn't attached to something. Could be wrong, but more than likely I'm right in that regards. But think about that once again, a year and a half of going straight through, traveling across the country, still going straight through. Last year, just couldn't keep a job for some reason. And you know, everything happens for a reason, as they say. Barely had dollars to my name, if that. Like, I was the Dollar Tree King last year, yo. And it took me until 3 weeks ago to realize, I don't want to go through that again. You know, that's not fun at all. For the love of the game, that's what it is. It's just because I don't know if anybody knows, but I hit 34 in December, and it's just like since then things have been hitting me like a light bulb, like, oh, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do. And even now I'm making decisions about the long term, because if you feel like you want to retire or leave something, then that means you're already done when you think about it. And I thought I'd be doing this forever, but I don't know if I can, or at least the capacity I'm at. Like, let me be clear. It went from me saying that I would be retiring to being part-time, because I still have obligations to people that ask me. You know, I'm just going less than what I've done before. And it started out with BVD. And it's crazy because, you know, this is the property I started with my brother, but hey man, Sundays, I kind of want to have Sundays to myself. Like, it's been times I miss football. It's been times I miss sporting events, and people say that's a sacrifice, but I've sacrificed more than enough. You feel me? I've sacrificed. My life is predicated on sacrifice. That's all I do. Not to put myself over, but I've gave to people when I had nothing. If I had a loaf of bread, we split it in half. You know, you get to a point where you start thinking about yourself and what you want to do. And that's where I'm at. It's just growth. I think that's the best way to say it. It's just growth at this point in my life. And you think about your legacy as a whole. You know, so that's what it is. It's just, you know, this is a small PSA, so to speak, as to what we've been doing and where it's coming from. None of this is on Davis at all. None of it. It is solely on me and the decision I made, and my brother he's sticking by me in my decision, and it's fine. You know, all good things come to an end, man. I think people have this preconceived notion that good things last forever. It doesn't. Mind you, everybody, like, I know my voice sounds like this. I'm not depressed at all. I'm just, you know, having a realization that I want to do more than just podcast, yo. Like, at this point in my life, I don't have too much that I want to talk about. Like, other than wrestling, that's the only thing I've been interested in the past couple of weeks. The NBA has been trash. NFL's been pretty good this season, but it's like, how many others have done this? And that's where the other ideal comes from. The other idea, same thing, comes from. It's just, it's thousands of people a day, it seems to be, that makes a podcast somewhere in this world. I go on TikTok and I see a new podcast I never heard of before. I've seen, you know, people that's been doing this for many years like me, or if not longer. And you get to a point where you just realize, like, what am I really bringing to the table? You know, what am I really bringing to the table in this capacity? Like, I'm saying my career is just based on the Russell Westbrook career. You know, we're both the same age, and you see now he's a 6 man. That's what I want to do. Just hit me when you need me to come off the bench, and I can get you 18. That's where I'm at in my career. I'm an 18 to 20 point scorer. I'm not going, you know, all the way like he did his entire career. And maybe he had that self-realization too. We're just doing it for fun. You know, I have nothing else to prove. And that's the main thing too. I have nothing else to prove. As far as this, I've been podcasting across the country. I've traveled. I've done a live show thanks to my brothers at Random Acts. I've done it all, it seems to be, except for get paid. And that's the other thing. Yes, it comes to chase the bag and all that. Hey, man, I'm not chasing nothing at this point. I think, just because, to be honest, like it's people that contact me that need stuff. And then you have this realization that, if these people I care about or supposed to care about need something, who am I to say no? Because I've literally given people the shirt off my back. And it's not to put myself over. It's just things that I do. And if I can't provide for certain people, then it's like, what's the point? And again, Father time is catching up. I don't have time. Like, dude, it's hard for me to work all day, try to figure out how I'm going to eat, podcast 3, 4, 5 times a week, if not more. Like, hell, I knew I was at my pinnacle. I want to say about 3 weeks ago, a month ago, let's just say a month ago, when I did 6 things in one sitting. All right, I can name all of them. I did 6 things in one sitting. That's insane, yo. Like, it's been times throughout the past year or two where I do 3 or 4 things in one day. And you be like, oh, the sun is up. Oh, the sun going down. You wake up and you podcast. Then produce. It's like, man, listen, it's nowhere. I'm not challenged anymore. That's simply it. And when I'm not challenged by something anymore, I don't care to do it anymore because I feel like I conquered it. My legacy is sealed, man. I feel like at this point, I'm already one of the greatest of all time. And that's not saying that in an egotistical way. Just the numbers are right there. I don't want to be a full-time podcaster anymore. Part-time. Come off the bench. When you need me, you'll see me. Like, it's easy to, for me at this space, because I can give you more material. It could be funny or it could be fresher. I feel like I've been recycling the same stuff for a while because I'm always going. I feel like I can speak clearly now because I'm not talking all the time. And I can sit with my thoughts. So let me be 6, man. I don't really like talking anyway. I don't really like being on camera. So, I just wanted to address that with people. I think I don't like leaving people in the dark. I like to be honest. Because people start to wonder. And when we did this before, people started to have thoughts about, oh, is it? And this, like I said before, I coined the term in 2021. I should have copywritten it, but it don't matter now. The podcast game is a new rap game. I've seen people who don't really like each other podcasts. I've seen people that's supposed to be friends and they stop recording because of business and all that. That'll never happen with me or anybody I record with because I'm used to not having nothing. Let's be clear. And then when I have something, I tend to give most of it away. So I go back to not having nothing. Because I can always get it back, and I'm willing to work a job. Not lazy. Podcasters have jobs for the most part. I don't sit around talking about $200 dates because I don't spend money on $200 dates. Said that before for a reason. Because my dates would be cheap, but that's neither here nor there. But it's just, I'm starting to get a grasp on what I really want to do, where I want to be, and who am I? That's the main thing. I'm trying to figure out who I am, and that's life. It doesn't matter how old you get, you start trying to figure out, like, yo, who am I? What am I doing? What's my purpose? And that's where I'm at. Is my purpose really podcasting? Is my purpose this? Is it that? I'm trying to figure it out. And that's another reason I'm taking part-time, the 6-man route. Because it's like, dude, I just don't have the energy, man. I'm 30. Like, I'm not old, but it's starting to hit me. And I go hard every single day in some type of aspect of my life. I don't have time to myself. It's rare. Hell, I'm on my lunch break right now recording this. All right. Be it that I'm just sitting in front of a screen because I work at home, but in this tent or whatever. And I'm very honest too. That's why I don't know if I can ever do this because I'm too honest with people. But at the same time, I really leave it all on the table because all of this is a manuscript for history. It's forever. And that's what this show is. And everything I've done is forever, man. My legacy, I feel fulfilled that at this age, I'd rather just be a six man because I've won a championship metaphorically with all these podcasts I've done. I've put up career stats. I've done so much that at this point, it's like I still enjoy it, but let me do it in a different way. Let me do it in a different way. Whenever Davis asks me to record, I'll be on white noise. I'll be on there when he asks me to do it. I don't mind putting people over. That's my job at this point. I'd rather put people over, man. So, I think, my main thing doing this, even though I told Davis I was going to do it, just to tell people what's going on. This, we don't need to do the theatrics like we did before. And then because those that have been here long enough, it was supposed to be a series finale last summer. And then we came back. But, that's the most views we probably got for an episode, which is crazy because people wanted the tea. I don't know. People are just weird. And that's another thing about podcasts. People are just weird. Like, dude, nobody really making money from this. Unless you got a Patreon and then y'all being weird about it. And thank you also to everybody that signed up for the Patreon. That was a way for us not really to get paid, even though it went all into the show. Like, let's be clear, all that stuff went into the show. But the fact that, it was a way for us to show additional content that we can't do on YouTube. And everybody that signed up, thank you for that. I just, I'm grateful. I'm forever grateful, man, about anything that, has happened in my life. At times I get a little jaded about it because I feel like it could have went a different route, or why didn't it go a different route? But I got to start realizing, man, that life ain't about me. Like, people tell me, Banks, you got to take care of yourself. Oh, you got to start thinking about you. Sometimes life doesn't allow me to be that way. I wish I could just kick my feet up, be with the girl of my dream with plenty of money, but I guess life isn't made for me in that way at this current time. Will it happen in the future? We'll see. But right now, I'm trying to take a little bit of advice from people and try to, go a different way with how I do things. Just because I don't want to repeat. My biggest thing is I don't want to repeat 2022 again. Or any year. Like, I just want to do something different. I want to do better. I want to become a better person. I want better situations, all that. And maybe that's cutting it off, shutting this door for another door to come up. And so far that, we've ended the show, this officially makes it ended. I've had more time to do things I normally don't get to do because I got to do 1,001 podcasts plus work and survive and help people. And you can't stop working no matter what. You got to work. So I'm categorizing what's more important at this point in my life. And me, he, and on the podcast selling jokes don't really benefit anybody because you can get that from others. People more popular than me, you can get that from them. You can get their insight. What makes me different from everybody else. But regardless, I'm one of the best ever to do it. I'm not the most popular. I don't know how much people like me. I don't care if they do or don't. I've never tried to, bury anybody. I never tried to say I'm better than anybody. All I've asked for is to be looked at as one of the best ever in whatever field. And it's crazy because manifestation is real, because I remember being younger. Like, I want to be one of the greatest ever at whatever I did. And I did that. right now I'm just playing out my career. It's just like with any great player. Like if LeBron left right now, he's the second greatest player of all time, if not the first. And, by the time, in a couple of weeks, he'll be the all-time scorer if he stays healthy, which is something we'll never say. A 30-plus-year-old record about to be broken by somebody that's been playing for 20 years who had all the pressure on him. And, if he would have been a bust, it would have been sports talk forever. But then yet he climbed the ranks and became the second first greatest player of all time. Look at that. I think initially when I started going at the rate I did 3 years ago, even though I've been doing this since 2018, February 2018, which is 4 or 5 years now. Yeah, that's crazy. On the cusp of my 5-year anniversary of podcasting, I'm slowing down. Not quitting, just slowing down. I never thought I'll be this far. I never thought 3 years ago I'll be where I'm at doing podcasts or traveling doing podcasts. Yeah, I've been to the heights that it's supposed to be. I've done podcasts in person, Random Access in person. Me and Davis were in Dallas. We did a podcast in person. I've done The Last Stop with Manny in person. I've done other podcasts in person I could think of. Too many people have done it with StreamYard. And most of them, they never really met anybody that they co-host with. So you got to touch the garment in order to get healed. Everybody that I'm really cool with, I'm in person. Because you got to shake my hand. The same thing I did with Jordan Iesi of Culture 316. And I'll be on there once a month as of now. So if anybody wants to see me, there you go. Subscribe at Culture 316. If you want to hear me or see me, Random Acts of Podcast. So it's not like I'm done. Solidified, man. I'm solidified in history. Davis is solidified in history for everything he's done, and I'm done, man. And then I'm so much bigger than the podcast. I think a lot of people have this disdain for me because of podcasting instead of the human being, or just weird towards me because of podcasting instead of the human being. Focus on the human being. And then now you kind of have to focus on the human being because now I'm not in your face all the time. I have no need for social media then. I don't really have a need for it now. I got to keep it just because, man, knowing me, I might delete it afterwards, being IG. I really don't have a need for it. Like as I'm talking to you right now, everybody now, I don't have a need for it. But, I might just keep it up just because. And I know people like to tag me and stuff. I'll promote. That's another reason why I got tired of doing this, because promote. And I feel like more times than not, when I promote, people just want to be nosy. What is Bangs doing? Working. That's all I do is work out, figure out what I'm going to eat for dinner, play Xbox. That's my life. Watch sports. That's it. My life is very simplistic. But people just have this preconceived notion that I'm bigger than what I am, or things that I do, or I'm out here doing whatever. You don't have to worry about that now. Because you won't be seeing me on a podcast every single day. But nah, I had to end it, in a way that's understandable for everybody, all these subscribers, because I don't want people to think like, yo, what just happened? They just stopped. I'm not like other podcasters where I just leave and that's it, and then you don't hear from me. Just a person, not even just a podcaster, just as a person. I gotta tell you something. You gotta keep people in the loop about it, just because, a lot of people probably enjoy the show. Well, we got 308 subscribers, or as of now, I think 305 actually, and the ones that's not bots probably enjoy the show. The YouTube would be up forever, man. Like, this isn't going anywhere. Like, we solidified in history. Just look it up. And then people ask, be honest about it. I'm not copping out for anything. I'm not saying, oh, because of this and that. Man, listen. People get tired, man. people start refocusing things in life. Some of the greatest rappers decided to do other stuff. Or just like, that's enough. Because there's only so much more you could say that somebody else hasn't said. And your legacy is your legacy. That person's legacy is their legacy. Our legacy is cool. We started out something, we didn't know each other. Found out we were from California almost 3 years ago. And once again, shouts out to Black Announce Table, which, you know, you'll see me on there on Wiretap every other Monday. You know, when you want to record, that's another thing. You got to pay to see me at this point, kind of, other than Random Acts and whatever else show I do. Public Enemies, All League with Keeks, Culture 316. So I'm still out here. It just won't be as much as it used to, which is fine. It's a kind of tag in thing. Again, so people don't need to worry about if you are worried, what's going on, Banks? Just taking a break, man. Going slower. Changing things around, you know. Changing mindsets. As you see, I haven't even cussed. Maybe that's alarming to you. Like, Banks not even cussing, yeah. Trying to do better, man. Trying to expand my vocabulary and overall my mindset. Trying to do better, man. Trying not to look at like as a womanizer, or like I wouldn't say people look at me as a creep, but you know, always talking about women. I'm trying to do better. So I'll calm down on that material. I'll calm down on cussing. Like, if you listen to Random Acts in the past couple weeks, I haven't cussed a lot. Just trying to do overall better. And it's weird because I never believed in New Year's resolutions, but I'm kind of doing New Year's resolutions early. Like, let's get it out the way. So that's it. Again, man, you know, it's just growth. Like, you can see us if you like this as individuals as a whole. Go back to the old episodes here, or, you know, I'll be on White Noise whenever Davis asks. Things come to an end, man. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. Everything is really good. It just, you know, for the most part, if you want to blame somebody, it's me. Just want to do something different. I want to be look less as a podcaster than an individual. I like enjoying free time. I'm getting a little bit more free time now. I like that. I'm going to record once, twice a week. That's perfect. At this point in my life, I've done it all, man. I've done it all as far as podcasts except for get paid. If I was getting paid, of course, I'd be doing this. I wouldn't be using my lunch break. About to get a violation for recording this, but I had to do something. And I thought about doing it on Monday, but I didn't feel like talking. And then if I would have did it Tuesday, I would have been off my game because of the news with, you know, my guy. And it's crazy to think about that now. I'm starting to think about it now. I'm festering up thoughts. So it's just, in the past year, I've seen just life happen. And it made me realize, oh, it's bigger than just what you do as a profession. Like, it takes death for people to have a perspective of life. Like, oh, there's things out there bigger than that. And it's like, yeah, it really is, man. In the past year, just so much that has happened in life. Not just myself, but with others, that made me realize, yo, you got to do what's best for you. You got to live life. And in the past year alone, I've just spent my time just recording podcasts. And it's like, what's the end game? What's the goal? And I realized it was going to come to an end at the pace that it is, when it was just like I was doing solo episodes on here, another podcast, and it was just bonus content. And it's like people asking me to record, and it was just like, yeah, I hit my peak, man. That's all it is. I hit my peak. But I'm not done by any means. I'm not done. It's just I've hit a peak putting up 30 points metaphorically. And at times putting the team on my back. When my brother was out with sabbatical last summer, I picked it up. I kept going. I think 1 week I did like 5 episodes. That's insane. That's not normal. So I'm at a point now where I'm just trying to live quote unquote normal, man. I'm just trying to figure out this life thing just like you and I. You know, while we're in this flesh, we're trying to figure it out, man. We're just souls in this flesh. Some flesh look good, some flesh don't. But at the end of the day, it's all flesh. So that's it. I mean, I really was going to talk about some other stuff, but it's not needed, man. And I don't have a lot to talk about. Hence the reason why I'm like, yeah, I don't have anything else, man. I don't have anything else to say. Thank you. Thank you all again. If you like the video, if you subscribe, if you watch, if you sign up for the Patreon, thank you, man. I could say it on behalf of Davis as well. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, just thank you. Thank you all. As usual, I mean, I wouldn't recommend following me, but if you want to follow me, Pardon the Banks, that's where you'll see everything I work on. Davis DC Coding. I mean, subscribe to the Patreon, Black Wrestling Patreon, pay the 1, pay the 10. You could see them over there, White Noise, and I mean, you could subscribe to them. They're on YouTube every Thursday, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll see me on Random Acts every Thursday. If you sign up to the Patreon, you can get the episode early. Pay the 10. Patreon.com/RAO podcast. There you go. So, I mean, Public Enemies, All League with Keith, I'm on there from time to time. Once a month, I'll be on Culture 316, Wiretap with Eve, blackannouncetable.com/ or patreon.com/blackannouncetable. Pay the 10. I'm on there if you want to see me. So it's options that we have. I'm not done. Just wanted to give everybody insight as to what's going on. But, you know, thank you all. And on that note, God bless and good night.